Hey everyone, it's April from Just Say Scrap. Today I have Adele joining us. Yay!
Hi everybody!
Adele actually just finished her Close to My Heart training academy. So she put in all that work and effort and she got her little certificate. So, woohoo! Go Adele. Today we are going to show you some of the Close to My Heart items and how to use some of them, and we're actually going to be making a card. So, let's get started.
Okay.
So to start off, we're going to take our Fisker's cutter, which can be found on page 132 of the catalog book. You can look at this on adelverbeizer.ctmh.com. So you're going to take your cutter, and for the card we're going to be making a 4x6. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull this nifty little device out, so you now have a 12 by 12 surface. Thank you, arm. And you're going to go over to the 6-inch mark, line it up, place your blade down, and cut it. Then, for the 4x6 card, you need to make it 6 by 8. So you're going to go over, find your 8 mark, and once again, slice it over. What's nice about the Fisker's cutter, it can cut, but it can also make
score.
It can also score.
You take the 8 by 6 piece of paper, you put it in the trimmer, 8 inches is the long way, you bring your paper to the number 4. Oh, by the way, this cutter is in increments of 1/16, so you can cut numerous sizes. When you're scoring, I found a little tip to use wax paper. You put the wax paper over the paper, and then you take the score blade. Just use it like the cutter. Don't press too hard, because if you press too hard and you're not using the wax paper, it can cut the paper.
I don't know if you can see it, but do you see the scored line?
Scored line, and then it folds very easily.
And you have your card.
And you have your card.
So to make your card nice and flat at the top, you can also use the bone folder, which could be found on page 131. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to ink on the card. So what we have here is the versamat. See, there's a 12 by 12 grid on it, so it's a nice, easy 12 by 12 layout. And this can be found on page 132 of the catalog. The versamat actually has 2 sides. The side with the grid on it is a harder surface, so you can use it just to like measure things and all that jazz.
And it also is a self-healing mat, so you can cut on it.
Yes. Then the other side is more squishy, so you can actually stamp and ink on this side and it won't get anywhere. And also, we'll explain later with the stamps, but this is a very nice surface to use for stamping. So we're going to take our 4x6 card, and we're going to take this month's stamp. It's called A Flowering Bunch. It's the stamp of the month for June. Now Adele is going to show us how we have to cure the stamps.
Yes. When you first use a stamp, it comes with this little foam square. You can also use that as a surface to stamp on, to give you a little cushion so your images come out nice and crisp. You'll take your acrylic stamp.
Be careful because they are rubber, so if you do pull it too hard, it can rip.
Right.
They're strong, but
they are strong.
Be careful.
You place it on the acrylic block.
There's a bunch of different sizes.
Yes. And in order to season it, just if it's brand new, just rub it on the top of your hand, because it's very sticky when it's new. You want to get a little bit of that stickiness off. And now it's ready to use. Cool.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stamp and I'm going to take our ink. This one is called Cotton Candy. I'm going to open it. They're a little tough at first, but I'm going to open it and I'm going to just ink the stamp until you can see it's inked. Well, kind of. Okay. So now, because I have the versamat, as Adele also said, you could always use this, is I'm going to open the card, and since these are see-through, I can look right through it and place it exactly where I want on the card. So we're going to go right in the middle, place it down, and press.
The clear acrylic blocks are also very good when you do double stamping, which we will cover in a later video.
So then you also want to always remember to cover your inks. So you're just going to have to pull it and flip it closed. These inks are actually very good because the ink pad is on the top of the ink. And when you put an ink down or set it out or leave it there for a while, you want the ink pads to be facing down. That way all the ink goes to the top of the ink pad and not on the bottom. That's also how you keep your pads for longer.
Close to My Heart also has the re-inkers for all of their stamp pads, which means you get a little bottle of ink, and when these dry out, which they last a long time, but when they start to dry out, you just use the re-inker, and you've got a brand new pen.
So you can find all the ink colors on the page 9 of the catalog. There's a huge variety of colors. You can buy them in the ink pads, you can buy them in re-inkers, you can also buy them in markers, you can also buy pigment ink sets. They come in a set of 10, and they're just these little inks, woohoo. You can also buy it in cardstock, and you can buy it in a combo cardstock pack.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different options for them.
The pigment inks are very good to use when you emboss your items, which will be discussed again on a later video.
Also, this ink is water-based, and the pigment ink is pigment. So the pigment ink also takes a little bit longer to dry, so that's why we're using this right now, just because it's a quicker dry. So next, once you have that, you also want to clean your stamp. So I'm going to take my acrylic block with my ink, and I'm going to take the spritz. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open it, spray it a few times, and I'm going to take my little handy dandy stamp cleaner. Woohoo! This is my favorite tool. And I'm just going to rub it over the stamp.
Now for inks that are a little darker, you may have to rub a little bit longer, but they basically clean very well.
Yes, and then ta-da! You have clean stamp. No stamp. Woohoo! No ink. That's that.
Another good thing about this little scrubber is the bottom has 4 little rubber feet. So if you don't want to scrub like this and you want to put it on the table, it basically stays in one spot.
Clean these, because obviously you're taking ink off on it. You can just run this under water and just scrub it a little bit and it will be clean. Just set it out to dry. So like we said before, you also have your alcohol-based pens. These are very nice because they have 2 sides. A little itty-bitty side. Can you see it? And then the longer tip side. What these are used for is if you have a black stamp, or, I mean, you could really do it with any stamp, but if you have a black stamp in particular, you can use those to color in the design on your paper, and they actually turn out really pretty. They're very nice. So what you're going to want to do after you clean your stamp is you're going to want to take it off of your acrylic block, gently again, and just put it right back onto its home.
Yes.
So now you can also see that there is some ink left on the acrylic block itself. So you do the same thing, just take the cleaner, spray it, and wipe it off.
When you put your stamps away, make sure you put the little square foam back on top because they are a little sticky.
You can find the stamp cleaner and the rub brush on page 133. Also, the ink colors are all, when you look in the front of the book, they have little groupings, and all of the colors I'm using today are from the Adventure Pack. Just gonna put that on there, and same as before, just going to, sorry Mom, that's okay. that down. And you have your card. Woohoo! Another neat tool that Close to My Heart sells are daubers. So I'm going to take my cotton candy ink again. And they come in a pack of 3. They're just these little nifty sponges that you can put on your finger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my finger, I dab it in my ink pad, and depending on what you want to do, you can outline stuff or you can like make circles. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just go around the edge of my card and ink the edges. This is also a lot easier than just grabbing the stamp pad itself because it's, first of all, neater, and second of all, you have better control of the ink. So another cool technique with the daubers is you can make little circles. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger, put it down, and just move it around. And look, you have little circles.
Polka dots.
Yeah. And since I'm on the versamat, if I want to go onto the side, does nothing. Goes right onto the mat. You're perfectly fine. So since these are the pigment inks, they do take a little bit longer to dry. And you can see on the actual, see how the shining, the shimmering, it's wet. So you just got to leave it out for maybe like 5-10 minutes and it will dry. And there you go. We now have a card. So today we used our acrylic blocks. Woohoo! We used our stamp cleaner and pad. We used our water-based ink and our pigment inks. These also stack. Fun fact. We used our Fiskars cutter with the blade and the scorer. These also you can buy in a pack of 2 for refills, or you can also just buy 2 blades. They come all different types. You use your versamat, and we showed you the markers, the alcohol-based markers. Then, oh, and obviously the stamp. So this is the stamp of the month for June. It will be available until June 30th. And it's cute. It has it's a bunch of little flowers, whatever. And also, if you purchase $35 worth of supplies, you get the stamp of the month for $5. Great. Another thing that is happening this month is they are selling thank you stamps, and all the proceeds will go towards the Oklahoma tornado victims. It's $3. It's a nice stamp. It's a thank you stamp. You can use it on all cards, obviously. And it's just a very nice thing. It all going back to Oklahoma. So there are also military stamps that are being sold through July 31st. If you want to look them up, you can look up Home of the Brave, and you can also look up Patriotic, and it will bring you to those stamps. And depending on which stamp you buy, it's $3 or $5 will go to support the military. That's a very nice cause as well.
The USO. It goes to the USO.
So thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed.
Bye.
Subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter.
And go to my webpage.
Yes, go to adelveobizer.ctmh.com. Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's April.
And Adele.
No!
Oh. No!
Layout. That
6 inches being the long way. The
8 inches being the long one. This is what I...
What do you mean 8 inch? They told me it was 6 by...
Walk away!